Welcome back to Courtroom Breakdown, where today's clash isn't in front of a judge, it's in front of a packed audience. Picture it, a college student steps up, determined to take down a seasoned debater, and the topic, Donald Trump's morals and character. Right away, the student sets the stage with a loaded question: how can Christians support a man accused of vanity, hypocrisy, and selfish ambition? But here's the twist. Charlie Kirk doesn't just defend Trump, he flips the entire courtroom dynamic by putting the student's own beliefs on trial. Who really gets to define morality, and by what standard? This showdown is about to unravel like a case filled with contradictions, receipts, and fiery objections. So buckle up.
Yes, hello, how are you?
Good morning, I'm good. How are you doing? Good. My first question it relates with Donald Trump's morals and characters. Morals and character, excuses are often made for him, but that has not been the case for most presidents, and I'd like to discuss that with you. Donald Trump has continuously shown low morals and poor character, and I understand that you are a pretty strong evangelical Christian, is that correct? And I don't think Donald Trump exemplifies strong Christianity, so I'd like to know what you think about that.
So, great question. So are you a Christian? I just want to know by what standard you're judging him.
I personally am not a Christian.
Okay, so that's interesting to me. Why do you then care about what Christians think of Trump if you yourself are not a Christian?
Well, I believe Christianity still does play a great role in this country.
Fair enough. No, I just want to know by what standard you're judging him. Fine. So when we're selecting a leader, all of us are sinners, all of us have problems. His character flaws are definitely public for those that can see it. I will say, though, that he has a lot of virtues. Would you say he has any virtues?
What basis are you saying? What virtues do you think?
Courage.
Possesses? Okay, courage, I think.
Like if you and I got shot, how would we react?
Well, I don't know. I think that we're straying a little bit from the question.
But no, it's important though. So what moral failures in particular do you think are disqualifying from a Christian standpoint for him to serve in office or gain support from Christians?
Well, I actually do have some things pulled up, and I did read some scripture in preparation as well. Would you mind if I provided some of that?
Sure, give me one or two examples.
Yeah.
And as long as you're applying the standard consistently, so for example, King David, Samson, Daniel, Joseph, and many figures in the Bible who are considered to be virtuous and righteous, because we're all sinners, and you know that.
Sure.
But
yeah, absolutely.
Please give me some examples.
Yeah, well, I'd like to quote a couple pieces of scripture. First from, it says, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, and to value others above yourself." But Trump has continuously put himself over American citizens.
Yeah, let me ask you a question on that. He's gotten poorer since he ran for office. He's lost his business empire. He's been impeached twice, indicted 4 times, facing 700 years in federal prison. How is that putting his own personal ambition first? He's facing life imprisonment, his business empire to be taken away from him. That's actually putting the country above himself, isn't it?
Well, yes, but what about him selling golden sneakers, selling branded Bibles, which he claims to be the only one he endorses, $100,000 watches?
So yeah, I mean, but selling products to try to pay for legal fees is probably understandable, right?
But
how much do you think he's spending in legal fees a month?
Isn't that telling that he's a 34-time convicted felon, though?
That's interesting. So do you think the standard of justice is equally applied of Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton?
Well, no, but look what you guys said about
hold on.
Hillary
That's very important, though, because do you think that Donald Trump would be experiencing this kind of criminality against him if his name wasn't Trump?
Yes.
Really?
I do.
So then why is it that no one's ever been indicted for what he got convicted for ever before in New York history?
Isn't that a great question?
Yes.
Why hasn't he been indicted?
No. Why has no one else ever been indicted for what he was indicted for? They made up a crime, first ever, for Donald.
This is where the energy in the room completely shifts. Instead of defending Trump straight away, Charlie fires back with his own cross-examination. Are you a Christian? Suddenly, the accuser is on the witness stand. The student admits, no, I'm not. And in that moment, the dynamic changes. Think about it. Can someone outside of faith use that faith to discredit a leader? It's a powerful strategy, redirecting the burden of proof. This isn't just debate, it's courtroom tactics at play. And here's the bigger question for you watching. Should political leaders be judged more by their personal sins or by their policies in power? Drop your verdict in the comments.
Let me ask you, from a Christian perspective. We all fall short of the glory of God.
Correct.
Okay, amen. And throughout the Bible, people who are sinners, such as I mentioned King David, who did a lot worse things than Donald Trump. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the story of King David. He literally not only committed adultery, he got the person he committed adultery with, Bathsheba's husband, sent him to the front of the line, got him murdered and killed so that he continued to commit adultery. Yet he was a man after God's own heart. We have Samson, who literally, when God came upon Samson, he was in a bed with prostitutes and was in the Hall of Faith in the book of Hebrews. We are not electing Donald Trump as a pastor of this country. We're electing him as a president. And we also see what he does. And this is a very important moral question. Let's say I grant you that Donald Trump embodies some of the sins that you and I both don't like. Is it matter more of what he's done in his personal life? Or does it matter more, for example, when you invade a sovereign country like Iraq and commit war crimes against millions of people?
Well, Donald Trump has contrasted multiple Christian values, but I don't.
Well, hold on, this is important though. Have we ever heard the mainstream media or yourself come up and say, how could a Christian vote for George W. Bush? Have you ever heard that argument?
No, but.
Well, hold on. George W. Bush invaded a sovereign country under lies and pretenses, and thousands of American soldiers died, and hundreds of thousands have PTSD, and millions of people had their lives displaced. We never say that George W. Bush was a bad Christian, yet Donald Trump was the one that didn't declare any new wars. Blessed are the peacemakers. Donald Trump was the one that fought for the unborn and got abortion, Roe versus Wade repealed, and we have abortion laws across the country that are pro-life. The point is that it's easy to nitpick at Donald Trump's personal life, but what he actually did to impact the country was far greater than other presidents that called themselves Christians in years past.
It still doesn't quite make sense why a Christian would vote for him, but I appreciate your input. I guess I put that very vaguely. I don't understand how Christians are okay with so much that he does, because he also refuses to accept responsibility and take accountability.
Well, but because we read the Bible, and the Bible is full of people that have very, very difficult, let's just say, colorful lives, and still are used for God's purpose. And and by the way, it's very easy to say, are you a sinner? You're not a Christian, but let's just say,
yes,
yeah, we're all sinners. And so we look at Donald Trump and we say, wow, this is a guy who's obviously broken. We're all broken. And what do you do with your broken life? Do you just golf all the time and fly around the world and hope things get better? Or do you get in the arena and fight for the country to the extent of where you get shot, you're under assassination attempts over every day, and your business empire taken from you? That's incredible virtue that I'm going to teach my kids about and say, even if your back is against the wall, you keep on fighting. I think that's incredibly virtuous.
Okay. And I understand I'm not going to change your mind on this. So this is mostly...
You asked for an explanation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. So I respect that. Now, you mentioned children that you have, and raising them by morals. I mean, this is somebody who's running for the president of the United States. And as a matter of fact, traditional Christian theologian and philosopher Albert Schweitzer said that example is not the main thing in influencing others, it is the only thing. Now, the words of the president matter, and I understand you're raising 2 children. So he has been on track calling prisoners of war losers. He lied to dodge
He has never said that. Is not correct. That is a total lie, but that's fine. So
lied to dodge the military.
That is also not correct, but fine.
Called citizens vermin.
Well, he called foreigners in the country that have broken into the country vermin.
Okay.
You know who he called vermin? He called the Venezuelan gang members that rape women vermin. Can we all agree that they're vermin? Everybody? Yeah. But that's fine. Just keep going. Yeah, I mean.
And his continuous bullying and name calling, I don't think that's a virtue you'd like to.
No, this is important. I want to say that. Okay, let's pretend all that's right. Let's pretend that you weren't being fed misinformation no. But I want to be clear. What is more virtuous? The guy that says stuff he shouldn't say, or the person that sends $200 billion on unnecessary war in Ukraine so 1 million people die? You have to choose. Which one would you rather have? Someone that talks sloppily or someone that funds wars around the world?
Okay, I was in the middle of my question.
No, it's important though.
Your own though. And I
was... Well, no, it's important because I wanted to hear from you though, because you obviously are not a supporter of Trump, and Trump is constantly under this attack that he's immoral and he's terrible, yet we never judge the actions of our leaders who continue to have wars around the world where people die. Is that immoral to do? Of Trump and not on the actions of our current leaders?
First of all, our current leader, Biden, is not running for presidency this year.
Well, no, but the vice president is actually, and she's also in charge.
She is, but not in charge the same way Joe Biden is currently.
Well, Joe Biden's certainly not in charge, so who's running the government?
Who is running? What's your answer to that?
I don't know. Like, we don't know who's running the government, actually, and it's horrifying. I mean, Kamala Harris went to the Munich Security Conference and provoked Vladimir Putin to invade Ukraine. She was in charge of the border. She was the border czar. The point is this, is that you can look through Donald Trump's language. People say he lies. He actually exaggerates, and those are two different things. But Donald Trump doesn't get in trouble for his exaggerations. He gets in trouble for telling the truth. And I'll give you an example. He gets in trouble for all of a sudden saying, oh, wow, the border's wide open. You're not allowed to say that. You seem super happy. Have a great day. Thank you. Thank you, guys. No, but I want to try to find some common ground here and try to see where you could. Well, I'm not going to make an excuse for everything a human being has done that it's not myself. Sure. But I will say that his track record of action has been very good for the country, and that is irrefutable.
Well, okay. May I?
In summary, yes, and then we'll get to another question.
Okay. So what I was going to say is, right now with Hurricane Helene and Milton, he is profusely lying and criticizing the Biden and Harris administration. But local officials...
How?
By saying he's siphoning money out for illegal immigrants.
No, that's totally true.
That's not true. FEMA said it's not true.
You guys could, hold on a second. FEMA literally says in their press release that they had a fund dedicated towards the southern border being a natural disaster, and they spent billions of dollars accommodating foreigners in this country with luxury hotels and interior flights. You can look at it yourself. FEMA gets money appropriated, and they decided to spend that money on the southern border and not on hurricane relief or tornado relief. It's a fact. And by the way, I'm not alone in that. A lot of senators agree. You can look it up yourself. I don't know, but see, that's not a lie, though. But you're accusing him of being a liar when he's telling the truth. You just made my point.
No, but you keep interrupting me. You're not letting me finish anything.
Because you're not. First of all, this is not your hour. This is my hour. You're asking me questions, right?
Yes.
Secondly,
well, does that mean you get to respect me differently?
Well, I know I'm totally respecting you, but if you're saying something that's not true, I'm not going to waste our time on that. Make one final point, please, about Donald Trump's character.
Local government officials have commended the job that Biden and Harris have done in giving them the aid they need. But Trump, in his rallies, he is making up stories, and he is taking advantage of people when they are most vulnerable for political.
This is not true.
For political points.
Okay. Why don't you go yourself to West North Carolina and tell me if it's going well? Okay. Tell me if it's going well, because it's not actually. You could talk to local official after local official. I don't know where you're getting your information from, but please make one final point, and then we'll get to the next person.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me ask you a hypothetical. You're not a Trump guy, right?
Correct, but I also know I'm not changing your mind. And
no, but I want to try to find morally where you're coming from. Would you rather have a president who sleeps around, exaggerates, and sells merchandise for himself, but we have no World War III and a good economy?
I think that's an exaggeration, exaggeration.
Well, hold on, one second. Or would you rather have a president that speaks crisply, and we have World War III and a wide open border and a terrible economy? You have to choose. Which would you have?
Well, I know I don't have time to answer this, but I'd actually...
It's an A or B choice.
Well, no, but I'd love to talk to you about it, because I don't think the economy would be terrible under Harris and Walz. I don't. How's the economy right now? Okay, so that's something I would love to talk to you if I had more time.
No, really quick. Is the economy good or bad right now?
Okay, so right now, from 2020 with global supply chain shortages...
Okay, yeah.
Exactly.
This is the problem with college, is that they try to overly complicate the simple. Is the economy good or bad right now?
So,
exactly.
So, inflation right now?
It's horrible, actually.
Inflation right now is 2.4%, which is right on par with the other G7 economies.
Can you afford regular things that you want to afford? See, this is what I'm talking about, is that you got to get out of the clouds and listen to real people.
No, but that's...
80% of Americans say the economy is horrible. Why do they say that?
Well, so, I mean, this is a nuanced answer. It would take nuance. And I want to ask you, what would Trump do to fix this economy? Because his tariff
exactly what he did for 4 years. Because the economy was great when Trump was president.
Yes.
Drill, baby, drill, deregulate, cut taxes, empower entrepreneurs, and allow people to invest in America again.
So
when Trump was president, the economy was objectively better. People remember it as better because it was better. The question is this: why do people think the economy is so bad right now?
So, because in 2020, global supply chain shortages, and after COVID, demand shot up, which put upwards pressure on prices. It caused inflation. That's an excuse to price gouge. Right now, inflation is down, but there has not been a price correction. Now, Trump's tariff...
You seem like a nice, sweet person. You are so deceived. I got to get to the next question, which is that you did not answer the question. Most Americans think the economy is crummy. Most Americans think it was better under Trump. I'm going to trust the wisdom of everyday Americans, not the proven wrong academics that refuse to talk to real everyday people. So I'm not going to change your mind on it. Thank you for being here
Yeah,
today.
no, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
And there you have it. What started as a simple moral challenge turned into a full-scale trial over faith, politics, and double standards. Charlie's defense hinged on one key principle: you're not electing a pastor, you're electing a president. And while critics hammer Trump's language, his defenders argue his policies on war, the economy, and abortion speak louder than his flaws. Whether you agree or not, this case forces us to ask: do personal character flaws outweigh public leadership decisions, or should history judge presidents by their outcomes, not their imperfections? If you found this courtroom-style breakdown as shocking as we did, hit that like button, share your verdict in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping case analyses.